the ICE again. Can't stay out of the news, can you? ICE agent tackles woman to the ground in front of her children. Horrific video released of an ICE officer shoving a woman to the ground in front of her kids.
Adiós, adiós. 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 Come on, man. Press, move out, press, move out. Move out. Get her out of the building.
That was horrific to watch. And don't try to justify it. Horrific. The fact that it happened in front of her children, to me, just means there should be an extra charge on that ICE agent. Brutal, unwarranted attack happened in immigration court in front of reporters who captured the entire event. Do you see? That's further evidence. And I'm not saying that when you're doing your job, you should be afraid of accountability and reporters. But do you see that the fact that this happened, it's not like somebody accidentally caught this in a covert manner, captured footage of this brutal attack. There were reporters openly there witnessing and chronicling this disgusting event. But when you act with impunity, you don't care. Did it anyway. Maybe that made you do it more. What are you going to do about it? Immigration and Customs Enforcement has once again been caught on camera violently arresting people in the halls of immigration court. This is the part where you go like you're supposed to go, like perhaps you've gone for years, your check-in. You are supposed to go before the court. Could be routine, but this doesn't end up routine. They got to get the numbers up, Journalist Silad Elahu on Thursday filmed a man desperately holding on to his wife and children as about 5 ICE agents, all but one masked, surrounded them inside a New York City immigration court. Remember, they dragged a city council member who was standing as a barrier in New York. Remember that? I think he only lost his tie. 2 of them wrapped their arms around the man's neck, putting him in a chokehold, because that was necessary, I guess. They attempted to drag him away. Agents eventually ripped him away from his distraught, screaming family and detained him. Gut-wrenching scene. I gotta stop again. You should just comply. Oh, I don't know. I came to court and I was expecting to have supper with my family, who was just here trying to, I don't know, have a better life. So perhaps he didn't do the right thing by holding on to his wife's hand. I don't know when I'm going to see you again. This is horrific. I'm just rhetorically asking if they tried another way besides pulling them apart. And this is law enforcement too. Doesn't mean that I'm, Mary Poppins here trying to have a badge on, because it might save you injury, your comrade's injury, and the public, right? I'm just asking if rhetorically they tried to say, relax, take a moment. I understand. Did you try any of that, or did you just rip them apart and then WWE? I already know the answer to this one. So after he was dragged away, the man's wife walked up to the only unmasked ICE officer, pleading with him in Spanish. That's a threat. The agent just yelled, adios, adios, in her face. She continued to beg him until he quickly shoved her into the wall, then to the ground, standing over her as her children screamed in horror. I want to use the T word. You're terrorizing someone. It's a terroristic act to me, whether it meets the letter of the law, the legal definition, the way some want to use it. I'm just telling you that it's actually a terroristic act. New York City Comptroller and former mayoral candidate Brad Lander stated this: I was back, 26 Federal Plaza today, where an ICE agent violently his threw this bereft woman to the ground in front of her kids. She had not touched him. She did not pose any threat. She had to be taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, data shows immigrants with no criminal record are now the largest group in ICE detention. So much for that escalator speech. But you got to get the numbers up because you promised, right? Government data shows this: ICE detention, 16,523 people, no record, 15,725 with a record, 13,767 pending charges. The data shows that the moment Trump stepped into power, the numbers of detainees jumps. I mean, it skyrockets. And listen, those who came before him, guys like Biden and Obama, they were no slouches when it came to deportation. In fact, they got criticized. Boy, they were deporting a lot of people. Talk about enforcement. Obama was like the deporter in chief, I think they called him at one point. Under Trump, ICE was holding 59,762 people in detention as of 25 September. Number exceeded 60,000 in August. That was a record. January 26th, roughly a week after Trump assumed office for a second term, ICE was holding 39,238 in detention. Total had been below 40,000 throughout 2024, although rising steadily later in the Biden administration as Joe came under and Kamala came under criticism for not doing enough to hold the border. The conditions where they're holding these detainees, it's not humane. There's no other way to put it. Deaths occurring in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have reached at least 16 since January, amid increasing mass detention across the country, growing concerns over conditions. Look, Waz, what we watched here is sicko behavior. As I thought about the individual, the only unmasked one, thank goodness, maybe you can go back to a community that's not proud of you. As I watched it, I thought, "Man, you're recruiting more and more people who perhaps just want to bully others." We've seen that on police forces. People who want to be police officers for the wrong reason. They want that power over people they're supposed to serve and protect. A grieving woman, children, whose husband is being disappeared, and you can't show any restraint, you can't de-escalate in any way.
Yeah, it's quite sickening, honestly. And there's certain people on the right who would be like, "Oh, if this was like a protest or whatever, oh, the person was Antifa, oh, the person was violently protesting, the person was blah blah blah." In this case, is literally a grieving family member, significant other, etc. Just the idea that you can't find it in you to find the humanity to show some restraint. But I think it goes back to how they're recruiting these folks. Literally, on the
Yeah.
advertisements, it's like, yo, the libs they've handcuffed law enforcement in this country. And the police can't even, they're not being empowered to do their job, but not at ICE. And so that's literally a selling point to their new recruits. It's this idea that there will be no restraint required of you. You could just go out, literally manhandle women who are in grief and essentially assault them. It's just a crazy predicament we find ourselves in.
It's crazy. Crazy, hostile. It's as if we're all enemies of the state. And it's whatever they say goes. And frankly, it is too often now. It is. And those who don't have, a big voice or a big following, like a Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, the comptroller was speaking up for this family and has done so before. I believe that was who I was referring to earlier, not a city council member who was detained. It's sick, but unfortunately, that's not the last footage. And we called it caught on tape, right? This is open. Okay. You're recorded when you walk outside your house. They love this. I believe they love it because it helps warn the rest of us who might be thinking we got to do something. Better stand down.